All right. Welcome everybody to Man United Elder TV. Today we are going to be discussing Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, and Manchester United. Yes, it is a discussion about the Manchester United midfield, and as we know, the Manchester United midfield is actually looking like an aged midfield. Though these players are actually performing on different levels. Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro are actually the most recognized Manchester United midfield pairing. And when we look at them, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, all have actually been very instrumental to Manchester United's success this season. And this is the reason why I want to talk about the two of them in a situation where we know that we might just be losing the two midfield maestro. Who and where do you think Manchester United can get a replacement from? We all know that Bruno Fernandes has been one of the best players for Manchester United post Sir Alex Ferguson. Bruno Fernandes has looked the best signing for Manchester United post Sir Alex Ferguson. And for this reason, we all know that it will be very, very difficult to replace a player like Bruno Fernandes in the Manchester United midfield. We also know that Casemiro has been very instrumental to Manchester United's success in recent years. Yes, Manchester United have won the FA Cup, yes, and I think the Carabao Cup, and Casemiro has been very instrumental to all of this happening, and this is why it becomes really, really important discussion to have. Who replaces Casemiro when he leaves Manchester United? Like I said before, there is tendencies that we might just lose both Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro this season, and also there are rumors about Bruno Fernandes probably maybe staying put at Manchester United if we get European football. Bruno Fernandes, we know, wants to play in the Champions League, and this is why he rejected the Saudi deal that came to him in the summer. Yes, he contemplated it, but it was clear what Manchester United wanted, and we didn't want Bruno Fernandes gone. And for that reason, Bruno Fernandes stayed back. And if Manchester United is able to get Champions League football, what we hear in the rumors is that Bruno Fernandes might just be able to put pen to paper for a new contract, and he might just be the only player that would be allowed to earn what he actually is earning, or probably even go higher. So for me, I think that Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro are two of the most important players we have in our team right now. And the question that is flying outside and everywhere is, who replaces Bruno Fernandes, and how are we going to do it in a situation where Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro leaves Manchester United? So I am going to be throwing this question open, and everyone who is out there, you can actually put in your own thoughts, in the comments. I will be reading the comments, and I want to know what you think about who replaces Bruno Fernandes, who replaces Casemiro. We know what Casemiro brings to Manchester United. At a point, we came to understand that Casemiro actually he was ostracized from the team, by Ruben Amorim. Yes, Casemiro was ostracized by out of the team by Ruben Amorim, and the reason why that happened was because he was considered too big. He was considered too big actually to start to say maybe to say the list. He was considered too big, and Ruben Amorim made it very clear to Casemiro that he needed to go shaping up before he could play at Manchester United. One thing I'm going to say here is that we have to give credit to Ruben Amorim. I'm going to say it clearly that Ruben Amorim has been instrumental to what we witnessed at Manchester United under Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick came into Manchester United, and a lot of things became very easy for him. That is because Ruben Amorim has been able to instill all of these things. It feels like Ruben Amorim actually laid the foundation to what Michael Carrick is enjoying today. The discipline with the players, yes, I think Ruben Amorim laid that down. The fitness of the players, I think Ruben Amorim laid that down. And then when we look at the ability of the players like Amad Diallo, players like Bruno Fernandes, players like what's it called, Mbuemo, being able to track back, being able to come back and help out in the defense line. These were things Ruben Amorim practically did at Manchester United. Look at players like Ahmad, do not have a problem tracking back. Players like Mbuemo do not have a problem tracking back. All of these players track back. All of these players do not find it too much of a thing to do. They know that football is a team sport and they are tracking back. And ENDXRO, you are welcome. All of you, thank you so much, guys. Everybody joining, please click on the subscribe button, click on the notification button, and follow this channel, because we are discussing all about Manchester United. So for me, I'm going to say clearly that Ruben Amorim deserves some credit with the discipline, with the focus, and with everything that has to do with Manchester United players being agile. You know, look at them; they are very agile. They are very fast, well to do. Look at Benjamin Sesko. The goal against Everton. Look at that speed to get ahead of Tarkowski. Look at that speed to get ahead of Tarkowski and put himself in a very good position to score. I think that we have to give the credit to Ruben Amorim because he's done his bit. But then, when Michael Carrick also deserves some form of credit, for being able to use the boys in their natural position and give them loads to do. It is what Michael Carrick is doing at Manchester United is not easy, to say the least. You have to actually get to know the boys, to actually give them that responsibility to attack and to defend as a team. And that is what Manchester United does. We attack as a team and we are defending as a team. As a matter of fact, against Everton, Manchester United looked like a team that was very compact. Everton did not get much out. A lot of corners they play, but we saw the discipline with our goalkeeper and our 18-yard box. Now, one thing I want to say again is this: we have to also give credit to the assistant coach of Michael Carrick. His name, what is that? His name? What is his name again? I want to remember his name. The Michael Carrick assistant coach. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name. The guy that is because we have to give him credit. Yes, Michael Carrick assistant coach. We have to also give him credit, because he's done very well. He's done very well for Manchester United. Yes, because when we look at what he's bringing, to Manchester United, he has actually brought some form of defensive discipline to Manchester United. Yes, what the Michael Carrick assistant coach is doing, he's actually brought that level of defensive shape, defensive organization, defensive orchestration. We are not seeing our team being scared or being jittery when it comes to cover, or when it comes to cover up. You say, I backed Amorim when he came to the club and then he got sacked. And I think players that have been there the longest, that have sacked multiple managers, and the problem. Yes, these players are the problems. Basically, I can actually agree with you. And now, I'm trying to remember the name of the Michael Carrick assistant coach. He's been really instrumental to Manchester. He's been really instrumental to what Manchester United is achieving right now. Yes, if you're joining me for the first time, please click on the subscribe button, click on the notification button, and you can follow this channel, because it's all about Manchester United. It is everything about Manchester United. Kindly click on the subscribe button, click on the notification button, and you can get every information. The name of Michael Carrick assistant coach is Steve Holland. Steve Holland has been very instrumental to Manchester United discipline. The discipline with Manchester United, he's been really, really instrumental. And I think that we need to give him credit for what he's done. Because when we look at it, under Ruben Amorim, Manchester United found it very, very difficult to actually defend set pieces. Under Ruben Amorim, we were conceding set piece goals, and it wasn't looking good. You know, it wasn't looking good. We were conceding set piece goals so much. And then when we look at it right now, under Michael Carrick and Steve Holland have been able to arrest the situation. We are not seeing much. We are not seeing much of the we are not losing. We are not losing to teams, on set pieces anymore. Manchester United is looking decent. We are looking decent on set pieces. We can actually defend set pieces now. This was not something that was conversant with Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. And this is why I said that Steve Holland, the Manchester United assistant coach, needs to get the credit. Michael Carrick also made a mention of that, when he gave credit to Steve Holland and Johnny Evans. So for me, I'm going to say this here. Under Michael Carrick, we have actually looked really decent in our defense. It's been very, very. It's been well shaped. I think that most of the times our midfield, our midfield is sometimes very porous. But what I've noticed is that we have actually improved in our defensive shape, and that is why that is the reason why we are not being run over. So this is Michael Carrick and Steve Holland, and these are the guys that have actually been credited with the turnaround at Manchester United. What Michael Carrick, we know that Michael Carrick has been very hands-on. He's been really, really hands-on with everything that he's doing at Manchester United. He's been hands-on in training. He's been hands-on with communication with the players. He has actually made, like Lisandro Martinez said, Michael Carrick has actually won his heart and make everyone feel relaxed at the club. Under Ruben Amorim was about training a bunch of boys who were resilient and very disciplined and 100% focused. That was Ruben Amorim. And while doing that, he probably would have been very, very harsh on most of the players. But then the best coach in the world is Sir Alex Ferguson. Were not friends. He was not friends with most players, but he got the best out of them. And that was what I saw Ruben Amorim trying to do, right? We look very, very good. Let me read out this comment here. Said, we look good, but we still struggle to break down a low block. That the West Ham game was a great example. Yes, the West Ham game was a great example on breaking down low blocks. And some of the people have suggested, a lot of fans have suggested that you actually needed we actually needed Benjamin Sesko in the game against Everton if we were supposed to get a goal out of the game. Because a lot of fans actually clamored for Benjamin Sesko to come in if we were going to get any goal. Please, I want you in the comment section. I want you everybody watching. Please, whatever you have, whatever opinion you have, drop it in the comment section, and I'm going to be reading all of them out. I'm going to be reading out all of them from YouTube to Facebook. I am going to be reading out all of the I'm going to be reading out all of your comments live. So when we look at it here, Steve Holland and Michael Carrick, as a team, they have actually impressed a lot of Manchester United fans. You are going to agree with me. We look the shape of our defense looks really good. What I think is wrong with our midfield is just one thing. We do not have players who can actually run. And Casemiro looks older, and he's growing older every day. He's 34 years old, and he's going to be 35 soon. So I don't think he has the ability to get the rigors or to actually get into that rigors of the Premier League, right? And he's done his bit. He came to Manchester United about 2 seasons ago. Yeah, I be 3 seasons ago. Yeah, at age 32, I be 30. Yeah, yes, he came to Manchester United. I think he came to Manchester United with this. I think. All right. Casemiro came to Manchester United when he was 31, 32. Okay, he was 30 years when he came to Manchester United, and now he will be 30. He's 34 at the time. So he's played about 2, 3 seasons with Manchester United, and I think that he's done excellently well for the club. And NXR said, with this current ownership, do you believe we will challenge for the title or even win the Premier League within the 5 years is too much. 5 years is actually too much for me. I'm going to be very very clear, clear with you with what I have seen, and I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to bring it down for you. With what I have seen, I think that Manchester United in the next 2 3 years can be actually going for the league. We can be going for the league. Now let me address it. Let me analyze it. Last season when we were last season we struggled to score goals in the Premier League. It was very difficult for Manchester United to actually score goals, but in Europe we were scoring goals. That explains the difference in levels between Europe and the Premier League. That explains the difference in levels. The Premier League is way, way more intense and way more tactical than the European competition, and that is why you had teams like Manchester United in 14th place and Spurs in 15th place playing playing the Europa League final. Yes, that explains that is because the Premier League is on a different level right now. When it comes to last season, we struggled to score goals, and then in before the beginning of this season, we signed players like Matheus Cunha. We signed players like we signed players like Matheus Cunha. We signed players like Mbuemo. We brought in players like Benjamin Sesko, and Sani Lamens. These four players were brought in. Before we brought in these four players, we already brought in Aiden Heaven and we brought in Patrick Dogu. These players actually came to Manchester United at the time where we did not really understand who they are, right? Aiden Heaven has been showing promising signs of being a top defender, and we are seeing Lenny Yoro also being trained, being groomed, and that is why I think that a player like Harry Maguire needs to stay back at the club because he'll be very instrumental to grooming all of the Aiden Heavens and Lenny Euros to make sure, and whoever the player and whatever talents we bring from the academy. These players, Lisandro Martinez, Harry Maguire, Matthias De Ligt, they will be very instrumental at grooming the younger ones into being formidable defenders. And then, if you look at the attacking side of things, Manchester United brought in Cunha, brought in Mbuemo, we brought in Benjamin Sesko. When you look at our input last season in goals and look at this year, our input this season in goals, you will notice the difference. As at last season, I want to show you something here urgently. As at last season, Manchester United did not score a lot of goals as at last season. Now I want to show you the difference and how improved Manchester United have been. As at last season, we were on minus. As at last season, Manchester United was on minus as at last season. Yeah, we ended 14th, we ended 15th in the Premier League table, and we were on minus. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now for you to see. We were on minus in the Premier League, Manchester United, right? And I'm going to show you, and also this season I'm going to put up some stats for you up there for you to understand that Manchester United probably might be able to compete compete by next season. We might just be able to compete in the Premier League. I'm hoping to win it here, and also hoping to go all the way in Europe by next season. All we just have to do is make sure that we invest properly. That is one of the things that is very, very instrumental to Manchester United in this summer window. We have to make sure that we invest. It is very, very essential, extremely essential for Manchester United. We have to invest in this summer window. So for me, I'm going to say that yes, we can actually we can actually compete in the Premier League by say 2 seasons from now. I think that Manchester United might just be able to compete in the Premier League if all things being equal. 2 seasons from now, we'll be able to compete. So, guys, that is one thing I want to say to you clearly. Yeah, yes, we might be able to compete clearly. You get so just hang on a bit so I can show you what is clearly what I want to show you. Manchester United can actually compete. We can compete. It is very, very possible. It is very, very possible that we can compete. Manchester United can compete in the Premier League as it is. Yeah, we can compete in the Premier League as it is. If you look at it, oh my God, I'm having a little bit of difficulty here and there. I'm going to do this again. All right. I'm going to do this again. So just a minute. Just a minute. So we can actually compete in the Premier League and also in the Champions League. We can. It's something that we can do. It's something that we can do. Compete in the Premier League and also in the Champions League. That's what we can do. All right. So guys, I'm sorry for taking up your time. I'm sorry guys for taking up your time. We just have to do this now. So Manchester United can actually compete. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. So let us go further ahead. Like I was saying, Manchester United, it was difficult for Manchester United to actually score goals last season. That was very, very difficult for Manchester United. And when you look at the Premier League table, when we look at the Premier League table for last season, this is Manchester United. Premier League table for last season, Manchester United was ended 15th with 42 points, and the goal difference, we were minus on when we were minus with the goal difference, right? Yes, we were minus on with the goal difference as at 2000 last year 2025. Our goal difference was minus 10. It was minus 10, our goal difference last year 2025. So now coming up to 2026 now, this is Manchester United. In 2026, we are fourth, with 48 points, and our goal difference for 2026 has improved drastically. Yeah, our goal difference from 2026 has improved drastically. Our goal difference for 2026 has improved drastically. So this is something that we all have to notice. The goal difference for 2026 has improved. Manchester United looks a lot more improved in the attacking force, and that is because we actually have improved our attack. Now let us look at the goal difference for Manchester United. Our goal difference right now is 48. Goal difference right now is 11. Manchester United last season we were minus 10, but this season our goal difference is 11. Sorry, our goal difference is 11 this season. That tells you a lot. You get that tells you a lot. Now, if Manchester United could have made signing of Mbuemo, made a signing for Chesko, made a signing for Cunha, and also made the signing for Sani Lamens. Before then, we brought in Heaven and Dogu. That tells you that this team is in the right trajectory, in the right direction. That is what it clearly tells you. This team is in the right trajectory. Now let us look up the most scoring teams in the Premier League. Most scoring teams in the Premier League. You know, the most scoring team in the Premier League, and you are going to be shocked at what you are going to see. The most scoring team, the teams with the highest goal total highest goal. It is the most scoring teams in the Premier League are Manchester City with 56 goals, Arsenal with 56 goals, Chelsea 48 goals, and Manchester United 48 goals. We are actually in second or third. We are actually third highest scoring team. Chelsea is 48. Manchester United is 48. This I'm going to put up on the screen for you now to see it, so that you understand how much Manchester United have actually improved, so that you can see it. I'm going to put it up in the screen for you, so you actually see how much Manchester United have improved. We have improved drastically, and this is something that a lot of Manchester United fans ought to be very glad about, because we have gotten in players who have come in and shown us very good they have come in and show us very good prospects. So let me show you this, so you can actually have a clear idea of what I am saying. Yeah, let me show you this. Now look at it there. Manchester United is third with 48 goals scored already this season. Last season we were minus 10. We were minus 10. This season we are plus 11 goals. Manchester United in this season have scored about 48 goals, and we are tied with Chelsea in that third position, right? At Manchester City, Arsenal are 56 altogether, and they are tied in the first position. So that tells you a lot about how improved Manchester United are. So Manchester United in the summer transfer window what we would now have to do will be going out there to get players. That will be the next point of call. Let me see what NX is saying. Now that we are scoring goals, would you improve our attack further or focus on other parts of the pitch, such as our midfield, our fullbacks, our defense, and even a better bench like Arsenal? Yes, this is something that we ought to be doing now. If you had made 5 signings to improve our team, what 5 signings would you make? Okay, all right. I would answer your question here. Okay, let us first of all go with the he said, now that we are scoring, first of all, we are scoring goals now. And what we ought to do right now will be to improve other part of the pitch, because we are going to be losing Casemiro. And when we lose Casemiro, which of these players do you think that Manchester United should be getting to come in and actually help out with what we are supposed to be doing? Which of the player? There are players on the cards, One of them is Angelo Stiller. Angelo Stiller plays for Stuttgart, and he's actually a very good player in Germany. But then the problem I personally have with Angelo Stiller is that I've seen loads of German players come to the Premier League and they offer a little or nothing at all, especially players of German descent, right? So that is why I'm skeptical about Angelo Stiller. Yes, I'm skeptical about Angelo Stiller, and yeah. That is the reason. For I do not have any other reason to be scared about him. I just don't have any other reason, but the fact that he plays in the German Bundesliga. He plays for Stuttgart, and I actually do not have. Then another player that is on the cards will be Elliot Anderson. Yeah, Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson is one player a lot of Manchester United fans have looked at. He's been on Manchester United radar. He's one player that we've looked at. He's been on the radar for Manchester United for a longer time now. Yes, for a longer time. And we are looking at what we can do to bring in that player, Elliot Anderson. He's been there. A lot of Manchester United fans, I think a lot of Manchester United fans fancy him a lot. Yeah, I think that loads of Manchester United fans fancy Angelo Stiller and Elliot Anderson. That is what I feel there. And also, there is other players who are actually in the bidding, and one of them is Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton is another player. He plays for Crystal Palace. He's UK, and yeah, he plays for Crystal Palace, and he is one player that we are looking at that might just be very instrumental for Manchester United. Adam Wharton. So after mentioning all of these players, I would like us to compare and contrast all of them, because I would like us to compare and contrast all of them, because one thing is clear. We do not have clear idea of what these players. We can only analyze it, but we do not have clear idea of what these players might just come to do at Manchester United. So for that reason, I am saying that we all have to just analyze it. Yeah, right. So another player aside from Adam Wharton will be will be Ederson. Ederson plays for Atalanta in Italy. He has been a regular name in the Manchester United radar. He's actually very decent for Atalanta for a few years now, and he's been on the Manchester United radar. A lot of Manchester United fans have actually tipped him to be a successor, to be the successor for Casemiro, but we do not have that. We do not have the rights to make the calls. The ones that have the rights to make the calls are Christopher Vivel, Omar Berada, and Jason Wickers. They are responsible to make the calls. But I'll tell you this: our midfield is the most important place that Manchester United should be looking at. Our midfield. This is one of the about the most important place Manchester United should be looking at, because if there is we don't have anything, we don't have a play if we don't actually fulfill the midfield. We do not have a play. We have to fulfill the midfield. It is very important that we do that, because without that midfield, we do not have a play. So I think that the midfield is very, 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 very important for Manchester United. The midfield is very, very important. That is where Manchester United, I feel like they should be. We should be concentrating. Now, if for me, if you ask me to choose between Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, I like Elliot Anderson's style of play. Adam Wharton is a very, very good forwarder of the ball. He's very, very good when it comes to going forward and playing intricate passes in between the lines. And he's very good at going forward. So I love that. I love that about Adam Wharton. He can pick out passes. He can lay them off, pick them up. do a lot, with the balls. That is, I love a lot at Adam Wharton for that. And also, Elliot Anderson looks similar. Elliot Anderson is also that kind of guy that can jump into tackles, control the midfield. Yeah, let me look at what I am and XR has said. I think Elliot Anderson is as good is good Casemiro replacement, but he can't do everything. Casemiro does. He cannot do everything Casemiro does. Casemiro aerial threat and his defensive brain is irreplaceable. Thank you so much. Yes, that is what I was about to say about Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson is more of an attacking, or would I say box to box, because he goes further, he goes further, and he's more of a goal scoring central midfielder. Yes. So, but for me, I think that Casemiro does everything. He goes forward, he comes backward. He's very instrumental in the box. He's very instrumental in our own box too. Yes, he can defend, he can score, he can stop an attack, and he can push at the attack. That is why it is absolutely difficult to replace a player like Casemiro at Manchester United. And for that reason, maybe we can get in an Ederson who is more defensively minded, and Adam Wharton. For me, maybe we get in Adam Wharton and Ederson. These two guys might just come in, because we cannot get just one player who can replace Casemiro in that middle of the park. And a situation where we lose Casemiro and also lose Bruno Fernandes, then Manchester United is in a deep problem. Yes, because how do we replace two of the hardest workers in our team? Yes, we hear that if Manchester United qualifies for Europe, if we can get European football, then probably, hopefully, we might just be able to get Bruno Fernandes to stay back at the club. But a situation where we cannot get Bruno Fernandes to stay back at the club, then it becomes a real problem for Manchester United, right? If we actually lose Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, it becomes a real problem, because we know that Kobe Mainu cannot play number 10. He does not have the vision of Bruno Fernandes. He does not have the work ethic of Bruno Fernandes. He's not as smart as Bruno Fernandes. He does not give you that will, political will, that will to move ahead like Bruno Fernandes. So I will like for us to actually keep Bruno Fernandes. I would Hennessy says, I would like Palmer for Bruno. Yeah, Hennessy says I would like Palmer for Bruno. And and XR says I would keep Bruno and look to buy Palmer in future. But the question is, can Palmer give what Bruno gives? Is Palmer a hard worker like Bruno? Can Palmer actually lead by example? We know what Bruno Fernandes does for Manchester United. He's everywhere. He's defending, he's attacking, he can play as a CDM. He gives everything to Manchester United. He drops it, his blood, his sweat, everything for Manchester United. And the question is, can Palmer give the same as Bruno Fernandes? That is the question we are asking here. Because for me, I'm going to say this here clearly. If we have anything to do to keep Casemiro at the club, I think we should be doing it. We know that Casemiro is on 350 and 350. Okay, he said he will keep. All right. And XR says I will keep Bruno and buy Palmer. That is a good one. And also Hennessy says I will like Palmer for Bruno. The thing is this, I will want for Bruno. I will want for Bruno Fernandes to stay at the club. But the question, do you think that Palmer can give what Bruno give? If we look at it, do you think that Palmer would give? Let us look at what NXR is saying right here. He says, I would get Stiller, Ederson, and Anderson, similar what Liverpool did when they got Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister. Yes, that is not a bad one. For me, that is not a bad one. If we are able to get Angelo Stiller, Then we get Anderson, and then we are able to get who again? Ederson. Then I think that we will have as much defensive cover there as much as also offensive threat. So I think that we would have that. But then that would give us that cover. It will give us proper cover for both Bruno and for both Casemiro. That is, but then it all boils down to the club and how much the club will be having. Because for us to get a player like Anderson, Elliot Anderson, we are going to be spending money. So for me, I would want us to spend that money and get quality players into Manchester United. As long as we qualify for Europe next season, then we do not have a choice. We must be going for Champions League football and also competing at winning the league. So the board knows this, and the board has to be doing business in the summer. And this is very, very clear that the board has to do business in the summer. So for me, it is Bruno and Casemiro are irreplaceable, and we can only get in players more. We cannot buy two players to replace them. We are going to get in more than two players to replace Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. And I am hoping that we are able to get Champions League football, so we do not have to worry our head over Bruno Fernandes leaving or staying, because he has actually made it clear that if we get Champions League football, then he might just stay, because he declined the Saudi deal because he wanted to build with Manchester United. He wanted to be part of something special at Manchester United, and I think that is more reason why Bruno Fernandes decided to stay back at Manchester United this summer. He would have left this summer, but then he wanted something more. He has shown so much love to the club. He has shown so much heart. I remember when a lot of people were saying that we should actually let Bruno Fernandes go for a fee, so that Manchester United can actually go ahead to buy other players. But right now we are understanding it that we are actually not going to be able to cope. We wouldn't have been able to cope this season without Bruno Fernandes. Yes, that he's one of the best players. So thank you guys who are joining. Thank you so much. If you're joining and you're seeing me for the first time, I would appreciate it if you click on the subscribe button, click on the notification button. This is Manchester United fan channel. It is all about Manchester United on this channel. So I am going to be allowing you guys put in your comments in the comment section. I will bring them up, and I'm going to be reading them all out and then answer some of the questions you have to answer. But as you do that, let me tell you all that there is a rumor that Harry Maguire might just be staying at Manchester United beyond this season. There are talks about Harry Maguire extending his contract at Manchester United, and we all know that there has been a clause that every player who is staying back at Manchester United over 30 years would have his paycheck sliced. So if Harry Maguire actually will be staying back at Manchester United, it means that he will be staying back at a lower salary. He is above 30, and he's not giving Manchester United loads, in as much as his experience is paying off for Manchester United. But we know that if we have Matthias de Ligt back, Harry Maguire relegates to the bench. So if he has to stay back at Manchester United, then Harry Maguire have to take a pay cut. Remember, Matthias de Ligt has been the first choice centre back for Manchester United. Matthias de Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, until Matthias de Ligt got injured. Harry Maguire has been decent in his own part. Yes, he's been decent, but what we know is that Harry Maguire does not give us that speed, the pace that a centre back will need to have. Harry Maguire does not give us that. We have all of that in Lisandro Martinez and in Matthias de Ligt, and that is the reason why two of these players are the best for partnership at the back. Harry Maguire is very good to come in as a substitute, and also we know that we still have Aiden Heaven. Also, we have Aiden Heaven. We have Lenny Yoro. These guys are guys who can actually step up the plate when time is needed. And XR asked a very serious question. Now that we are scoring goals, yeah, okay, yeah, this is it. He says, now that we are scoring goals, would you improve our attack further or focus on other parts of the pitch, such as midfield, our fullbacks, our defense, and a better bench? And this is very, very instrumental. Yeah, what an XR has said. Very, very important question. Listen, we are going to take it one step at a time because Manchester United is still building. No, despite the fact that we've sacked Ruben Amorim, Manchester United is still building. And this time around, I think that the focus will be in the midfield. We might also get in fullbacks. Fullbacks are very necessary. But then I think that Dalo and Luke Shaw are actually decent for now. But it is very important that we get in fullbacks. So we'll look at what Manchester United will be able to do in the midfield, knowing that Casemiro will be leaving. So we'll look at what Manchester United will be doing in the midfield. So it is very, very important that we thought we look at it. Casemiro will be leaving, so the next point of call for Manchester United will be in the midfield. So we can straighten that up, make sure that the midfield is straightened up, then we can now look at the fullbacks and the defense line. And after that, then Manchester United will be looking at getting players who could actually be for squad depth, who can actually be for rotation. These are some of the things that a lot of us do not know, when it comes to when it comes to building a team. So most of the players we are going to be buying, look at a player like Diego Leon. Diego Leon has not been used this season, and anytime Manchester United needs him, he will come on board. We have also Tyrell Malacia, who is on the bench, waiting for a call-up whenever Manchester United will need him. All of these players can be seen as squad players, players who will come in to help steady the ship, to help in one on two, like playing the FA Cup, playing the Carabao Cup, all those kind of things. So for me, I would say that the next section of strengthening that Manchester United will be doing right now will be in that midfield area, because when you look at our attack, we have players in the attack. We have Joshua Zexi, we have Patrick Dogu, we have Amad Diallo, we have Brian Mbuemo, we have Matheus Cunha, and we have what's his name, Benjamin Sesko. This is six front players. So it means that we have our attacking setup proper. So we need to look at the midfield. Before then, if you look at the defense line, we have Lenny Yoro, we have Harry Maguire, we have Lisandro Martinez, we have Matthias De Ligt, we have Aiden Heaven. Yes, this is 5. We've not talked about the fullbacks. So where we are lacking right now is at the fullbacks and the midfield. So we need to get in the fullbacks and midfielders to help Manchester United. And if we can do that, then we can go ahead to bring in squad players who will help Manchester United whenever we need to play the FA Cups, the Carabao Cups. These are very, very, very important. But I'm hoping and praying that Bruno Fernandes does not leave Manchester United in this summer, because that would mean that we would have to buy more than what we are beginning to buy. And I don't know how much we are going to be making up Bruno Fernandes. And we also understand that if Manchester United can go ahead and get Champions League football, that means money will be coming, and we probably have money to spend in the transfer market. So that is why it is very instrumental that a lot of us actually support Michael Carrick, to get in. Can we have a discussion on Michael Carrick? Can we talk about Michael Carrick before we go? Yeah, let us talk about Michael Carrick, what he's done at the club. Let us talk about what Michael Carrick has done at the club, because if we look at it, Michael Carrick has actually done a lot of good things in Manchester United. Yes, he's done a lot of good. In as much as it is actually a small time he's been at the club, I think that he's done some very, very nice things at the club. Yeah, I think he's done some very nice things at the club. Steadying the ship is not in it is no mean feat. Making sure that he steadies the ship is no mean feat. It's something that we all have to look at and say, yes, Michael Carrick has done very well. But then, for me, I think I'm giving kudos to Michael Carrick for what he's done. It is not easy. Listening to this like this in this manner. Look at Michael Carrick. He's won. He's defeated two of the best managers in the league, and then went ahead to actually defeat three Premier League specialists in Marco Silva, Unai Emery. He's beaten David Moyes, and he's drawn with Nuno Espirito Santo. So if you look at it, Michael Carrick looks like a manager who knows what he's doing rather than a fluke. All he has done has not been a fluke. And in subsequent programs, we are going to be talking about how Michael Carrick has been able to hold it down even against low block teams. It is not easy to play against low block teams. And one thing I know is Michael Carrick. He's actually going to learn of what is going to happen. We are going to be playing Crystal Palace next, and I know that Michael Carrick might just go a different route against Crystal Palace. I am having that feeling that he might decide to go a different route with Crystal Palace. Maybe introduce Benjamin Sesko earlier on in the game. Yeah, I'm hoping that he does something that spring up surprises. So guys, I'm going to see you in the next broadcast. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. I hope you click on the subscribe button, click on the notification button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll be seeing you again in my next broadcast. Thank you so much. Peace. Bye.